Hi. In this video, we're going to walk through step by step how to set up continuous integration for a Salesforce SFDX project. I'm going to show you a toy example which contains everything you need to get started, and we're going to solve for some of the gotchas I've run into along the way with connected apps. In the description below, you'll find a link to this blog post, which goes through all the details in a little more depth. And also there's a link to a public GitHub repo where you can download the code that we'll be going through. First, to get started, you're going to want to set up an SFDX project in VS Code. And you can do that just by clicking on SFDX, create project, and you'll get an empty project. You'll see that then we're going to create 3 simple components that we can use to test out our continuous integration. And let's look at what they are. So first of all, we have a trigger on orders. And what this does is anytime there is a new order that gets saved, is it creates an event log of that new order. So essentially we're just doing a simple logging of new orders. And that uses a custom object that we've created for logging, which is called event log. It's very simple, just has 2 fields, the name and the order ID. And then lastly, we have a test so that we can test that every time a new order is inserted, it gets logged as an event log. So this is pretty simple, and just enough so that we can run this test in continuous integration when we commit our code. And again, like I said, if you want to be able to see this code and go through it in detail, you can use the link in the description to the public GitHub repo. Okay, so now we're going to head over to our Salesforce Dev Hub, and our continuous integration will need to authenticate to this Dev Hub and do things like create scratch orgs, deploy code, run tests, etc. So no human interaction in any of this. So we need to use a connected app and with JWT authentication. So what I discovered is that the external client apps, which is the recommended Salesforce way for now creating connected apps, does not support some of the CI functions that you need, like it doesn't support creating scratch orgs. And I wasted about 10 hours trying to figure this out, why this connected app that I made here did not work with JWT to create scratch orgs. So to spare you all of that, I'll let you know that you actually need to create the legacy connected app type. And to do that, you go into external client apps here, and then down to settings. And there is a section down here called connected apps. This is the old kind. So you need to enable this, and then you can use the new connected app button here to create a new connected app. And so I have done that. And now let's go look at that and see what it looks like. So we go into apps, and then connected apps, and then manage connected apps. So here is my new connected app. And you can see some of the settings. I'll point out the important ones. There's more details in the blog post. But the permitted users needs to be admin approved users, relax IP restrictions. Here you add the profile of your integration user. I'm just being lazy and using system administrator, but you would use something else obviously in the real world. Now, just to make this confusing as hell, we need to go into App Manager because we can't see all the other settings from that view to look at the rest of how this connected app has been set up. So we go in here under Edit, and yeah, then you can see the other important stuff like the callback URL. Now, even though JWT does not use a callback URL, this still needs to be right, or you'll get errors. Salesforce, um, the authentication process, for some reason, looks at this, even though there is no callback, and it's got to match. This is the one that I found worked for me. It's kind of a dark art to figure out what callback URL to put in there, but that worked for me. Here are the selected scopes that you need, and API, web, refresh token, offline access. Then that's pretty much it. So once we have that connected app set up, then we'll head over to our command line terminal to test it out. Here in the command line terminal, you have to install the Salesforce CLI, assuming you've done that, and then we're going to test out our JWT authentication and try some of the operations that we need for doing CI. So yeah, I've got this set up here. So for example, to start, you're going to want to have some of the key pieces of information in environment variables. We'll show that in a bit, but here I'm just going to take the base 64 JWT encoded key, save it to a temporary file. Then I'm going to use this command to, oh no, that's the create scratch org. This command first to authenticate using JWT. And here again, I've got the client ID for that connected app. I've got my server key from a temp file. I've got my username, again, in an environment variable. And I'm going to set this as the default GitHub. So default dev hub. So let's run that. And it says it successfully authorized me. That's great. That's step one. And now let's test out creating a scratch org. So here's the command for creating a scratch org. It just points to the configuration file for scratch orgs and calling it CI scratch. It just needs to exist for one day at most because we're just going to run the test to make sure it passes. And we don't need this scratch org anymore. So there it says your scratch org is ready. So that's how we know that our connected app works for JWT authentication. And now we're going to see how we can get these commands working in a CI workflow. So now I've switched over to GitHub, and again, you can, this is a public repository that the link is there in the description. We are looking at the GitHub workflow called CI-deploy tests here, and this is going to go through some of the commands I just showed you in the terminal, and it also deploys code and then runs a test. So you can see in the blog post there's some links to will give you some better background on how this YAML is structured and how these workflows run. But you can see in here we do some things like it's going to be a brand new Ubuntu box that gets set up when the GitHub action runs, and we're going to set Node.js, install the Salesforce CLI, and then we get to the commands here that that we were just showing in the terminal. So we need to decode the JWT key. which is stored in a secret. It's very important that we don't ever check the private key into the repository. So that would give everybody access who cared to look for it. So that gets stored in a secret. And so there you can see that we echo it to the key. And the next step is what we showed in the terminal. We're doing the JWT grant. Again, some more secrets are being used here to authenticate against our dev hub. And then we have the command that creates the scratch org here. And then we have another command here that deploys all of the components from the project. Then we have a CLI command here that runs the Apex test. And then finally, we upload the test results so they're stored inside of our repo. And then finally, at the end of the process, the scratch org gets deleted. So now we're going to see how we run this workflow. And I'm back in my project in VS Code. You can see the deployment and test script that we were just looking at in GitHub is here locally. It's checked in as part of the project. And what we need, that is set up to run every time we make a commit. So we'll go change something and then commit it and watch it run. Let me just go in here, change something in the trigger. Instead of test account, we'll call this test account 01. So there, once we've done that, then let's go see git status down here. We'll update. I just call this a simple change. And then I'm going to push that. Now let's go back to GitHub and see what's going on. So under actions, we can see the simple change that I committed. The deployment script is running, and we can even go in and watch what's happening in real time. It's installed CLI, decoded. Now it's creating the scratch org. Now it's deploying the project. Now it's running the tests. And deleted the scratch org. So that's it. If we go back, you can see it now says that the workflow ran successfully. So yeah, we know that our change did not break anything. So although this is just a toy example, it takes you through the essentials of what you need to know to do CI within a Salesforce SFDX project. So the next step is to make this real for team development, is adding things like triggering builds automatically on pull request, validating changes before they merge, and keeping your main branch deployable at all times. I hope you found this useful. And like I said at the beginning, for more details, you can check out the blog post linked in the description. And also you can check out this repo, public repo. The link is in the description.